We are approaching the endgame. The last thing we had to play are queens, pretty much, to get to an endgame. And as you see, I'm up a pawn. But how can I win this position? And more importantly, is this position winning? Well, this position is winnable, and I know that for a fact because we have the same colored bishop, which is important not to draw, because if they were opposite colored bishop and I was up a pawn or even two, it wouldn't be probably a draw. Pretty much all of the time is a draw, sometimes it's not, but it's really hard. So I think it's winnable because I have the f, the g and the h pawn, which are against the g pawn. So I have quite a chance to create a pass pawn, and after that I can play around it and try to win. In this endgame, I'm not going to play perfect moves because I'm not a computer, but I'm not also going to watch the analysis or watch the evaluation bar pretty much, for a simple reason. The point of this video is helping you to get better in the endgame. If you watch how Stockfish will play the endgame, yeah, I'm sure you're going to learn something, but can you really understand what a computer thinks? I don't think so. My point is, if you watch how a 2100 plays, you can try to understand what are my thoughts, because I don't calculate 20 moves in the future. Stockfish is really hard to understand, and objectively speaking, you can reach my level or another one, but you can't reach Stockfish level. That's why I'm doing this. I'm going to show you my good moves and my bad moves, because that's how I play, and I think you can learn a lot from this. So the first thing I'm thinking in this position is that I obviously have to defend that on the pawn on f2. So my opponent is threatening this pawn and I have to do something about that. Also, I would like to take queens, because if I play queens, I know he has less chance to draw or to win the game, because the queen is a really tricky piece, so I want to play queens. For this reason I played rook on f3. Rook on f3 does two things. Defend the threat on f2, let's see three things. Attack the queen. The queen has to move, but the only square he can put the queen is on h4, because he can't put the queen on another square, otherwise he is going to lose it. So queen on h4, and I got what I wanted. I can finally play queens. And now my position is even better. Why? Because now his pawn is farther from the e pawn. Before it was a g pawn, now it's an h pawn, so I can push my g and h pawn to try to make a pass pawn. That's great. So I have winning chances, and I have to play to win. Now, I could also play rooks. I should have played the rooks, to be honest. But also if I keep rooks, it's still winnable, but it's going to get a bit harder, because it still has a lot of counterplay. If I played one rook, though, it should be better for me. Now I played the rook on e3. I could have also played rook on h3. But if I play rook on h3, he plays rook on f6, because if he plays rook on h8, he's going to lose this pawn after rook on e5 to h5. Now I play rook on h5, and because he played the rook on f6, he can actually play, he can actually put this rook on h8, and this pawn is defended. I have a lot of pressure on this pawn. It's a good move. It's a good way to play to win this position, but obviously I'm not going to win this pawn. My plan is different. I'm not going to target this weakness, I'm going to target this weakness. As I said, in order to make a plan, you have to understand your threats and your opponent's threats. You combine all of them, and after that you can make a good plan, because you have all the information you know. Now, I don't have that many weaknesses, so right now I can just think about what I want to do. I see that my opponent has these two big weaknesses, the h6 and the e6 pawn, and this time I decided to target this pawn, which is targetable also with the last square bishop, so for this reason I decided to target this pawn, because it's a last square pawn. So my opponent played king on d6 in order to defend the pawn even with the other rook, This pawn is completely defended, though I know it's weak, but he has the king defending it, so I can't really do a lot about that. So now I try to do something else. Honestly, the best move is probably pushing some of this pawn, because I want to create a pass pawn and be happy with life. But I played pawn on b3. Now, pawn on b3, no need the evaluation to understand that's a bad move. That's a bad move for 2 reasons. If I open this file, and this file is opened for my opponent, so I just give him counterplay. So I don't really want to take this pawn. I basically wasted the move because I'm not really getting anything. And if my opponent actually take this pawn, he has the A and the B pawn against the B pawn, so he can actually create a pass pawn. So I'm giving him too much counterplay. I shouldn't have done that. This move is just stupid, honestly. I also make mistakes. He plays b5, and now I have to take the pawn. I have to take the pawn because, again, as I said, I don't want him to have the A and the B pawn against my B pawn. And this way, he kinda has to take with the B pawn, because if he takes with the D pawn, I'm going to play rook on c5 and double rooks on the 5th rank, and I think I'm in a real good shape. So you take with this pawn, and now it's the A pawn against the A pawn. Is not going to have a pass pawn. I'm happier, but I opened the B file for him, so that was a mistake. I play G3. G3, I mean, as a reason behind that, I don't want to get back rank checkmated, but apart from that, I want to put the king on G2, and with the king on G2, I can defend the F, the G, and the H pawn. So I thought that was a good position for my king, so that's why I pushed the G pawn. My opponent now take the control of the file, which is a logical move, a really good one. I completely understand it. There is nothing wrong with that, obviously. It's my mistake, and he decided to make a plan based on my mistake and my weaknesses. You see that my biggest weakness now, because I play b3, is the a2 pawn and the c2 bishop. So if he can target both of them, he is in a really good shape, and he can probably draw. Or he could even have winning chances, because if he can win the a pawn, he has a pawn which is a pass pawn, so I could be in trouble. So my plan now is built. Thinking about what I want to do, but also what my opponent want to do. I still want to target this, but I also have to defend the A pawn. I have to prevent rook on b2, or to defend the threat of rook on b2. For this reason, I played the rook on e2. Why? Because if he plays rook on b2 now, I just move the bishop, and this pawn is defended. It can't be taken, because if you take this pawn, I just take the rook. So this was a good move, played because I saw what was my opponent bet. Now my opponent played rook on f6, which is not a good move, and it's also hard to explain why he played that. So basically has two purposes, right? Playing rook on f8 in order to target the f pawn, but there is no way you are going to take this pawn. This is not a weakness. So in an endgame, it's pretty much useless to target something that is not a weakness. I mean, you wasted a move to target something that is not a weakness, so obviously it's not a good move. The second thing is defending the h6 pawn, but there is a problem. I can target the pawn only one time with this rook, because this rook can't really get there. The pawn defend the a4 square, so there isn't too much I can do about that. So I can target this pawn with just a rook. So you don't need to waste a move defending this pawn, preventing the fact that I can attack it. You can defend the pawn when I attack it. So I basically waste a move attacking this pawn, and after that you waste a move defending the pawn. But this way you just waste a move, because who said I have to attack this pawn? No one. So you play this move, which makes pretty much no sense. If I'm attacking the pawn, at that point you can defend it. And also remember, in endgames, you should try to waste less move as possible, because you're going to be in trouble. As you saw, I wasted a move playing b3 and now I am in trouble. I wasted a move playing rook on f6 and now I'm much better. Why I am much better? Because he gave me a move to do whatever I wanted. And for this reason I played king on g2, which defends every pawn. I'm not going to get checked, so I'm preventing pretty much everything. Now, if he attacks my pawn, as he did, I can just defend it, moving the bishop. Also, he played the rook on f6, followed by rook on b2. This is not how you make a plan. If you play rook on f6, you need a follow-up. The follow-up is not rook on b2, because it's pointless. You move this rook to double rooks, or to defend this pawn, but obviously not to have this rook on b2. Now your rook are not connected, you need to waste other two moves to connect rooks, and your position is weaker now. It's kind of pointless. Also, you are targeting this pawn, but now it's easily defendable. So what I did is playing bishop on h7. Now, bishop on h7 defend the pawn, but not only that. The point is that I can also target this pawn in the future playing bishop on g8. That's why this move is pointless. Now, if you want to defend this pawn one more time, you need to waste two moves. Now, he shouldn't play the rooks. If he plays rooks, he loses all the pressure on the b file, which is my weaknesses. This pawn is my weaknesses, and if he is left with this rook, which is on f6, which is a bad thing for him, because if it was on f8, at least he could have doubled the rook. He's going to be in trouble, because I'm the only one that have some play, that has activity. So he played rook on b7 at this point, targeting the bishop, which is another mistake, I think. Why? Well, and let me see the evaluation bar. It's almost +2. So this bishop is not my weakness. Why? Because even if you move your bishop, which by the way, if you can move it whatever you want, is not going to attack something, I can just move mine. So what? So this is another wasted move, but I mean, at this point it's not even a wasted move, because he had to play the rooks or to move his. So now he's at least kind of threatening something. But he is going to have some problems only because he played rook on f6 followed by rook on b2. He followed a wrong plan, a plan which was wild, a plan without a follow-up, because rook on f6 does not make sense with rook on b2. So I played h4. Why? Because he has no threats. I can play whatever I want now. If my opponent has no threat, I can go for my plan. My plan changes if my opponent has that. If my opponent has nothing, my plan is just based on what I want to do. h4. h4, why? g4, g5, take, g-pawn is a pass pawn. Good luck. Also, this is going to be really good, because I have the bishop on h7, which can defend the pawn and help me getting a queen. So for this reason, my opponent played bishop on e8. Bishop on e8 makes sense. He's going to attack my bishop. I have to waste the time moving my bishop again. And in the future, he can live without his bishop, so it starts making sense. His bishop was pretty bad. So I play bishop on c2. And now he targets the pawn again. Now, if I play bishop on h7, he can play rook on b7, and I clearly don't want to draw. For this reason, in this position, I played bishop on d1. Bishop on d1 avoids the draw, because this is defended, and if he targets the bishop again, I move this rook, and if he targets the pawn again with rook on b2, I can play rook on e2. That's the point. So I play rook on a5 to e2, and there is no way we are going to make a draw. He targets this pawn. Now, this is another bad move, for a reason. You had the rook on the b file. With the rook on the b file, you can at least go back to your position. You're going to waste two moves, but okay. You're going to go back into your position. Now you have a rook in my position, which is basically doing nothing, because this pawn is just targetable one time. so I can defend it one time and I'm safe forever. And this rook now can't go back. I mean, it can go back, but you have to waste the moves. So playing rook on c1 basically means that you're going to play this rook. And if you play this rook, as I said, you have no counterplay. And if there is someone who can win, I am the one. And now it's also harder for you to make it though. So this move wasn't good. And I played rook on e5 to e3. So not though, I'm safe, the pawn is defended, your rook is misplaced, this rook is kinda stupid, your bishop sucks. So I'm really okay. He plays bishop on g6. Now bishop on g6 is a good move. We want to put the bishop on d3, so his bishop start to get a bit decent. He has a problem though. This pawn now is defended 2 times, but could be attacked 3 times. And after that, he has to play rooks because otherwise he's going to lose the pawn. So trade. As I said, now I have to be much better. Remember, I was plus 1.7 the last time I watched the evaluation. Now I'm plus 2.4. Why? Because he has 0 counterplay and I can start pushing pawns. Now my plan is much simpler. I don't have to be worried about my opponent counterplay, so my plan is just pushing pawns and create a pass pawn. It's pretty easy. So he plays h5. Now h5 basically give me a weakness to target. It's targetable by the bishop, it's targetable by the rook in the future. Also, if I start pushing pawn, you have to play this pawn earlier, because now it's a square up. So I play bishop on d1. Bishop on d1 is a great move, and threatening to target the bishop 2 times. And if you lose, to target the pawn 2 times. And if you lose this pawn, it's GG. H2 pass pawn, they are not stoppable. So he plays rook on f7. The point is that if I play rook on e5, is going to defend the pawn with rook on h7. Still rook on e5. Why? Because now my position is great. And I'm forcing my opponent to a passive play. If you force your opponent into a defense, if you force your opponent into a defensive position, it only means that your opponent has not activity, has not counterplay. So you have 0 problem, first of all, and you can try to gain an advantage from that. If you have 0 problem, you can keep going with your plans. You don't have to waste time defending or do something like that. My opponent though is wasting a lot of times defending. So rook on h7, and I mean, it has to be defended, this pawn. But now, I mean, before pushing this pawn, I even make my rook better. This way I'm attacking the bishop, and he kinda has to move it. If he defends the bishop with the rook on g7, it could be targetable, this bishop, in the future, not now, because if, let's say, he plays the rook on g7 and play bishop on c2, he has this discovery check, and I'm going to lose a piece. He take the rook, and whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's better if I actually take this bishop, because now the rook is hanging. Let's say he moves the rook and now he's up and it's change. But if I move the king before, at that point the bishop is just pinned. So rook on g5 attacking the bishop, and my opponent plays bishop on f7, so it's not pinned, it's safe. This pawn is defended 2 times. Now, I could start pushing the pawn in order to create a pass pawn and win. But before doing that, I could also try to play pieces, because if I can, I win. I basically win. These pawns are too strong, they can't be stopped. The more pieces I played in this position, because I'm up a pawn, but not only that, I can create a really strong pass pawn, the more is better for me, because he has less defender. I play bishop on c2, targeting the rook. He has to move the rook, and after that I have a great square where to put the bishop on g6, which target the pawn. Bishop on c2 is, I think it's a great move and pretty much a winning move. It's really good. If I look at the evaluation, it's plus 2.6. My opponent moves the rook on h6 and now is plus 3.3. I can't put the bishop on g6, obviously, but what can I do at this point? So my pieces are really active, are really good, they control a lot of squares. Instead, my opponent pieces are really bad, so for this reason my advantage is even bigger, and he still try to defend. Now, in order to make progress, I need to push this pawn, I need to use whatever I have. So I play f3 in order to play g4 in the future and create a pass pawn. That makes a lot of sense. Rook on f6, not even targeting this pawn, so at that point, at this point I can just play pawn on g4 with 3 pawns, and I have 2 pass pawn. 2 pass pawn, not even 1. That's great. I mean, now this position is undefendable for a simple reason. 2 pass pawn are not stoppable, and you don't have the materials to stop them. First of all, we have the same material apart from the fact that I'm up a pawn. So this pawn can be defended pretty well by me. My pieces are better than yours. Even though we have the same pieces, my pieces are even better than yours. So there is pretty much no way you can stop these pawns. So it lies with the rook on g4, but now the rook could be a target with my king. But you have to be careful. If you want to be sure to win a position like this, you don't have to give your opponent counterplay. Playing king on g3 is true that attacks the rook, but the rook goes on f1. Why would you allow the rook to go on the first rank? It's pointless. You are just trying to make him draw or to make him win. You're giving him too much activity. So king on g3 is a really bad move. I need to do something else. Let's say I do nothing. This rook can't move. Can't really move. I mean, can go back to f6, but I don't care. So if I do nothing, or if I do something that doesn't change too much my position, I'm still winning with no problem. My opponent has 0 counterplay. So for this reason, I played rook on g7. Rook on g7 target the bishop. If he moves the rook somewhere out of this file, is going to lose it. And also, after I play rook on g7, I can move the g-pawn. He moves the bishop, which I think is clever, is avoiding everything that possible. Still, king on g3 is a bad move. Also playing g5 is kind of a bad move because I'm just giving him this check. I mean, that doesn't do too much, but it's still the same. If he checks me and I play king on f3 or king on h3, he's going to go on g1. So that's kind of stupid by me. For this reason, I played h5. Now, if he sack the bishop or whatever, they still have a pass pawn, I'm up a piece. GG. He can't sack the bishop, and this position is just great. Now, he's trying to rely on counterplay, but I played this position pretty well that he has 0 counterplay. Now, I don't want to give him a pass pawn. And remember that if you want to get to an advanced level, your opponent can win on every move. At this level, your opponent is going to create a threat every move, because he wants to survive at all costs. He's going to create a threat every move because it's a good player and know how to make bets. So you can't just play this position thinking I am winning this. You have to lose your brain on every move, because otherwise, don't worry, it's pretty easy to lose a position like this. It's completely winning. If I watch the evaluation, is mating 10 or plus 10 plus 10. But you have to be careful. You have to be careful. You have to use your brain and to understand what your opponent wants to do. You want to play e4 and to start pushing this pawn. Don't give him a pass pawn. Pretty easy. You can just take this pawn. And apart from that, you also blundered. Because if I take this pawn and I take with the king, I have rook check and I win the bishop. So I take the pawn, he can't take it, and now he moves the king. Now I'm up 2 pawns. This is also pass pawn, so this is really game over. But I'm going to show you how to make a queen from this position, because I think it's important. I push the h6 pawn. Why? How do you stop this pawn? The only way is rook on f8. Just the only way. So this pawn is pretty hard to stop. And that's the reason why I decided to push it. You can't stop it with the bishop, you are going to lose the bishop. So you can just play rook on f8 if you want to stop it, otherwise you are not even going to stop it. Remember, don't give your opponent counterplay. You can just take it. You can just take it and win. You win now. You don't need to win in 2 moves. You can win in 3 moves, you can win in 4 moves. The important thing is that you win. If your opponent has counterplay, don't win. Just annihilate any chance he has. Make him cry. Make him cry because he has 0 chance to draw or to win. That's how you play. With the anger. That's how you play. It's a brutal game. So h7, I want to make a queen, GG. He checks me. Now be careful, I mean he doesn't really have too much. You can just play king on g3 and whatever. He has 0 check now. This check does not work, I just take. Yeah, you have a pass pawn now, I have a queen though. That's kind of the problem. Rook on d2, threatening the bishop. Now, I can move the bishop or make a queen. At this point, if you really want to be a bad person, you can move the bishop. But if you do that, let's say you put the bishop on f5, it's going to check you. Let's say you play king on f4, and now, yeah, you can still make a queen in a couple of moves, but it's going to sack the rook for the queen. So you can just make a queen now. You lose the bishop, but you have up a queen. Now I'm going to show you this real quick. It's pretty easy to win. There aren't too many problems now. So first of all, I'm checking the king. As you see, I don't have so much time. Yeah, you can't see it, but I have 2 minutes. I don't have that much time, but first of all, I start checking the king, then I can take the pawn. But instead of taking the a pawn with the rook, I can check the king again and take the pawn with check, which is even better. That's a really good move at this point. I check the king again because if I can put and if I can have his king in the center of the board, I can checkmate him pretty easily, I guess, because I have a queen. Also, this pawn is defended. For this reason, now he plays king on d4. I'm threatening the bishop. And now, yes, he's giving me a check, but the board is not going anywhere. And after this move is completely lost because this bishop is attacked by the queen. The bishop is defending the king, but don't forget that we still have a rook. After this move, the bishop is pinned. It's not defended by this pawn. This pawn can only go this way. And this is pretty much game over. I moved the king and he resigned. He's also going to lose this bishop, and I mean, that's GG. You're going to get mated in a couple of moves. Evaluation says he's mating 8, so that's great. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you want to see content like this more, because I mean, I have no problems doing that. And see you soon.